All right, you're going to Portland in October.
Mm-hmm.
So quickly, tell me your life story.
Oh, let me see. You think I'm not coming back?
You never know.
Let's see, it all happened at a radio station.
Thank you. Who's your favorite child?
Oh, that's so unfair.
Okay. Who's your
Oldest child? Say me.
favorite moment? Okay, good. Let's see.
When you're this old, every moment is your favorite moment from here on in, you see.
Favorite vacation spot?
Well, favorite trip was Ireland.
Yeah, I mean.
And but then I had I love the beach, and I liked Michael's house at the beach.
Right.
Okay. That's according to your children. Uncle Mikey's house.
Oh, right, Michael's house. Yeah.
And
Williamsburg? You always liked Williamsburg.
oh, I liked Williamsburg. Always wanted to go to Williamsburg.
We're talking about doing that again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're going to go.
Oh. Well, this may not work out. Oh, how cute is that? Batman! You know, he looks very much like Zachary when he puts that hat on.
You know, it's true. Want to see yourself?
Wow.
Looking pretty handsome, huh?
Here. Batman!
Well, now you can see yourself, too.
Oh, well, I don't particularly care for that view. Here we go, let's go.
Favorite experience, teaching?
Well, that's hard to draw off
Isn't
one.
it, though? There is so much junk in this viewfinder.
Oh, once when I was substituting in Michael's 4th grade at A.J. Smith,
Yeah.
I was teaching math, and Timmy Kirkpatrick yelled at from the back of the room. I finally got it. And I thought that's every teacher's dream, is to have somebody finally understand something that they couldn't understand from their regular teacher.
Because you were better.
Of course.
Favorite house, old house or the new house?
What do you mean by old?
Well, you know, the old house, old house.
Oh dear, the new house.
Really?
Oh yes.
Why?
Because the old house was so old and had a very bad kitchen.
And the puddle of blood in the middle of the floor.
And, well, that.
And the cistern.
More than that, yes, the cistern that the cat fell into. And the bathroom that was so
Was
awful.
there just one bathroom? There's a bathroom upstairs.
Yeah, that was raised on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And that was just a half bath. That was just. And
But that's where I learned to go potty.
but I actually, I mean, for what we needed at the time was very nice.
Yeah.
But never my goal in life to live like that. Oh, that. Well, I thought that house had great potential.
The new house?
The new house.
Yeah.
What it wouldn't have been the way I would have built it,
Yeah.
but it was a nice spot on the lake, and it was very secluded in the sense that you didn't have traffic going right by your front door.
That's true.
A good place to raise children, and it was nice to have the yacht
Pretty
club.
desolate, though.
Well, yeah, but desolate I liked. You
Yeah.
did, you know. And not being that far from Auburn or downtown Union Springs was. But for children, it was difficult because most of the homes were summer homes.
Hang on a second. Any regrets?
No, not really. I sometimes think, I mean, at the time, I was positive that I would have been much happier teaching instead of staying home.
Yeah.
But now looking back on it, I think I would have been happier, but I think the children would have been sadder. So it's, do you see what I mean? Because we were so isolated that there wouldn't have been anybody that I could have sent you out to play with. Or,
Latchkey house.
But I just remembered when I was bringing Jakey and Mikey, probably Patty, home from A.J. Smith, Jakey leaning over the back seat of the Volvo, saying, "Why don't you do this all the time, Mom? You're so much happier when you teach." And out of the mouths of babes come wisdom. What? Well, what's your thought?
About whether you should have taught her?
Mm-hmm.
I think later years you should have. You know, it was fun to have you home when you were little.
Later years,
You,
actually started to. But
Yeah.
how old was Patty?
I was in college then.
Yeah.
That was it, so. Best childhood memories.
Of mine?
Yeah.
My very own? I once remember walking to an estate called the Star Estate, pretty far from where we lived, but in terms of what we walked way back then, you know, miles.
Uphill both ways.
And I was with Peggy Adams, and we snuck onto the estate, climbed a hill, and it was covered with daffodils. And I remember sitting...
You got on the property?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We were always sneaking onto people's
Oh,
property.
you were snuck? Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool.
Oh, yeah, we weren't invited,
Oh.
although being ballet there. But, yeah.
And
yeah.
so you were on this hill of daffodils.
And I thought it was one of those moments, you know,
How old?
probably 10, 12.
Wow.
And then we used to crawl through a hole in the fence on the Stotesbury estate and go
Criminal mind.
and sled
Oh,
and,
cool.
and ice skate. That was the nearest pond to ice skate on.
So your problem was there's no 7-Elevens for you to go to.
No 7-Eleven.
That was our best memories of going to.
The first 7-Eleven was when you children were coming down to visit my mom and Mikey and the Slurpees.
And Mikey what?
The Slurpee.
Yeah.
That's all he ever. That's the only. His first trip as
That's
soon
all
as
right. Slurpees.
running to my grandmother's house all the time was fun too. Because she lived. In fact, I want to do that. I want to get Patty. Well, I have to talk to my sister first. I want to drive down with a camera and take pictures of my old house, which, according to Irene,
We should do it somewhere.
and then drive over and see if my grandmother's house is still there.
That would be fun.
And take a picture of that. Because my grandmother had this big duplex.
What?
I'm running out of battery.
And I'm not running out of...
I know, that's why I need to do more of this.
And but she lived across from a football field and playground. And I used to do all kinds of acrobatic things on the trapeze. And,
This is your grandmother's?
uh-huh.
Cool.
And my grandmother had big oak trees in front of her house, and we used to catch those shells of the locust.
The thing is, yeah, here.
What?
No, locust.
Yeah, that you hear. And
I'll tell you in a minute about the
but
locust.
that was fun. That was I remember it was always fun being able to walk to your grandmother's house.
See,
And,
that's what kids don't have now. They can't walk anywhere.
and that's how I got my first dog, which Patty thinks is hysterical, because I went to see my grandmother with my mother and father and sisters, and my grandmother had this French poodle puppy. It was adorable. It was like a little ball of snow, and they called her Snowball. And it was my grandmother's dog, but I wouldn't go home without her. So my grandmother let me take it home.
Because you were spoiled as the youngest, of course.
I never thought that, but it might be true. And that dog lived with us for years and years and years and years. And then we had to put her down. And what did we get after the dog? Oh, the black Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah, which I remember.
But you know what dog I don't remember? There is a picture of me by a Christmas tree with a golden Cocker Spaniel. And for the life of me, it won't, nothing.
Older or younger? I mean,
No,
you're older?
I'm about in my 20s. I'm dressed in an evening gown, so I had to be dating.
Ooh.
And there's a golden retriever in my lap.
Could
And
have been the sisters?
none of my sisters had dogs. None of them. And I cannot, for the life of me, remember this dog, which means either I have a total lapse of memory, or it was somebody else's dog, but I
Our
can't.
dog is black.
It looked very much like... No, it was a spaniel.
Yeah.
And...
I've pelted enough questions at you.
Okay. Well, One of my fondest memories, though, is teaching school for 5 years in Philadelphia. I loved that. a lot.
Not having us.
What, having you as a fond memory?
Children, having us children.
Of course. Of course. That's a given.
No, you need to say it.
Oh, all right.
So say it.
One of my fondest
I'm going to run
memories
out right now.
is having 4 lovely, talented children who grew up to be 4 lovely, talented young adults, all doing very well in this world.
There are assorted foibles.
No, everybody has foibles.
It's a great word, foibles.
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 Flaws?
No.
Oh, no.
We're flawless, but we have
Flawless.
foibles.
Flawless, but foibles.
And cool grandchildren now.
And exceptionally.
Oh, watching even one get birthed.
Yes. So, that's a big highlight in my life.
Really?
I had never seen a birthing. Never seen a birthing, including my own.
That's a highlight?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Oh, I thought that was it's like a miracle
It is.
type thing.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
And he was so sweet and cute then as he is now. And
Yeah. I
almost.
always remember Mr. Newman coming in.
I thought you were pretty embarrassed. I remember that you giggled, and then you kept giggling and giggling, and the doctor said, if you don't stop laughing.
Well, she kept making me laugh.
I know, she was saying things. She was very cute.
She still is. She's all blonde now.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Very cute, very. And then I liked the way that she whipped the cord that was around his neck out from around his neck with not a moment's hesitation and not a slow down and not a
Yeah.
because she just put her finger under it and
Wow.
it was real cool.
That was pretty amazing.
And
4.5 years ago.
wow.
Wow, this is like the battery that keeps going. I love it.
Do you know I've never seen any of John's children either born or
Yeah.
there's not that that's a big deal. I saw Lisa after Sharisa was born, but that's
They
it.
have video, right? Don't they
Yeah.
like some?
That
Sure.
yeah, that's the only one. I
Yeah.
guess they were all born in Norfolk except the last 2.
Well, I
But
guess that's right.
and I saw Anna Claire after the cesarean.
Pretty soon, right?
Yeah, right after.
You were out there then?
Yeah.
Well, you did good then. You've seen a bunch of these kids, teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny. And
I'm glad you got a whole passel of grandchildren. How many you got? Like 5 and 2 and 1.
8. But my mother had 12. If I'm
Well,
not
we'll keep
mistaken.
going. Well, you did good. And John was just saying what I actually got the camera for is you and Jeremy talking was just adorable.
Oh, what were we doing?
Talking about the strawberries.
Oh,
I said
oh.
how he likes you because you're so good with the kids.
Oh.
And you talk with them nicely.
He said, Jeremy said to me, you have to cut off the green thing. And I said, no, you don't. You can use it as a holder. And he was so thrilled that was a new option. So.
And there's the new refrigerator before I run out of battery. Ooh, baby.
But it's nice talking to children who comprehend and who can put it together. And then a year later, remind you what you said.
Oh, I know. Frightening, isn't it? Shush. Well, it's September. We're about to get the new au pair. Look at that calendar. You're going to go out there in October. Well, all right. Why, thank you for your time. We'll continue this when you get back.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'll start writing things down.
Yeah, sure. What's that book Mikey wants you to do? It's all done?
Oh, it's done. He has it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I want one.
I did it. My sister Irene was very funny. She said that somebody gave her one, and you know, as she usually does,
Yeah.
J.C. Dahl. I never wrote a.
John has one too. A father's one or something.
Has he written it?
No, it's hard to do these things,
I
you know,
know.
especially
And it's hard to pick favorites or
I
what's the best moment of your life. And you know, you go back over and you think, I don't know.
Birth of the Children. Probably, right?
For you?
Yeah, for me.
Right.
Meeting Robert Redford.
Oh.
I always think I can die now. I've met Mr. Redford.
One of the highlights could have been when I graduated from high school and received all the honors that they had to give practically, and was up on the stage kissing the Cardinal's ring representing my class for Notre Dame. And
Promise.
What?
Yeah, no, your glasses are reflecting the window. It's bad. Yeah.
and like that's when you think and 4-year scholarship to Chester Hill, and you think, what did you do with all that energy and talent you had when you were 18?
You passed it on.
Okay. But no, sometimes now as you get older, you begin to think, did you not do enough?
Yeah.
Did you make an impact on anybody?
You raised 4 good kids.
I raised 4 good kids.
Foibles or not.
And I also probably
Taught a bunch of kids.
impacted on those I taught.
All our friends were impacted by you.
Oh, okay.
No question.
Yeah.
You know, you were always the best mom.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And,
The grandkids.
the grandkids are beautiful.
Look, you just taught Zachary how to snap pants. Hey.
And I trained him how to say Arthur.
Ooh. See?
That's a great coup. I love that. How'd you learn that? You trained me. Oh, God.
See? No regrets. You
Yeah.
took all that collected wisdom and...
But that's why I think that teaching, I had originally wanted to be a writer, journalist, but I ended up teaching because my mother said, you don't do that. I get the greatest satisfaction out of having somebody learn something from me, which I think means innately I was meant to teach,
Yeah.
because that's what makes me really happy.
Well, there you go.
And because I like to talk.
Yes, you do.
And talking, you see, is teaching.
Yes, it is.
And I remember Jakey also saying that he learned more riding in to the allergist in the car with me than he did in all of high school.
Probably true.
Very funny kid. So, yes, I don't regret children at all. I don't regret any part of my life.
Good.
I really don't. I don't regret the marriage.
Good.
Don't regret the children. Cannot think of anything I would have changed except possibly going back to teaching sooner.
Smoking.
No, at the time, I mean, you regret it now. Only hindsight is 2020. At the
I'm
time,
trying to tell the kids not to.
no, I mean, nobody told us,
Yeah, that's true.
and
That's
how
true.
could you know? I mean,
And you look so cool doing it.
yeah. And I was telling Zachary that in college, he was talking about smoking because of something on
Yeah.
a cereal box, and I said in college, because he was surprised to hear I smoked.
Oh,
In
yeah.
college, they came out and would put a barrel of those cardboard 2 cigarette packs in the
Well, he
cafeteria.
announced yesterday you didn't want to go to college because you have to smoke there. So
That's from me. And no, I'll have to take that away from him.
Yes, thank you.
But they did.
I'm sure.
and,
Like credit cards now.
Yeah. And then when you were served your food on the airplane, they always included the same 2 cigarettes
Really?
on your tray.
Oh my
Mhm.
God.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
terrible.
Mary and Scotty and your father would all give me their little 2 free cigarettes so that I was the only one of that group that smoked.
Oh my goodness.
But
Oh,
yeah,
my
it was
goodness.
free cigarettes everywhere you went. And which again proves they knew it was addictive.
Yeah, I
The
suppose
providers, and you provide it, it's just like the drug dealers nowadays. And even the doctors never said don't smoke when you're pregnant. Never said a word. So, and I remember, I think I told you the story when Michael was born. I left from the doctor's office And my biggest concern was I didn't have any cigarettes. And the receptionist in the doctor's office gave me hers to take on the cab
To the hospital.
to the hospital.
That's great.
Uh-huh. And the people, when you were born, and the lady who had the son that was a friend of yours, you remember?
Johnny.
She and I used to sit there and smoke. You were allowed to smoke in the room.
Wow.
And, I mean, back then, the odd standout would be the one who wasn't smoking. So, and they never said a word. Never. Now, I find it hard to believe that doctors didn't know. Don't you think that they would?
Well, I mean, maybe not enough time had gone by to see the result. Probably.
So,
But, the basic science of it all, you think, but still.
the
Anyway.
sad thing.
Favorite food? What's the sad thing?
Oh, I was just going to say the sad thing. My father died from asbestosis and never smoked in his life, but he was working in a bad environment. My favorite food was my mother's rice that she put in the electric roaster around roast beef
Wow.
and roasted all the juice out of the roast beef, so it tasted pretty awful, but the rice was saturated with this meaty flavored juice.
And that was your favorite?
Oh, God. Yes, she would make
You
it.
never made us that.
No, I could never make it the way she did. I'd never had the... My mother had a roasting, a big thing, and you put... it was electric, and you
Yeah.
set dials on it. It was like having a
You
small...
had a thing like that, didn't you? Like a cooker? You had a square one. We used to make a PA.
That was a frying pan.
Oh.
That was an electric
Different than a
frying
cooker.
pan. Yeah.
Oh.
This was a cooker that was deep, sort of like that
slow cooker.
Slow cooker. And in fact, it was a slow cooker, and she would put roast beef in there and cook it for like 3 hours, and it was so bad. It was so bad.
But the rice was good.
rice was delicious. So every time I'd come to visit, she
Yeah.
would make it for me.
See what I don't know. I don't know these things.
And it's like, that's why I like fried rice, I think,
Ah.
because the fried
What?
rice.
Fine. We got all the clothes upstairs.
Thank you.
And,
I just learned my mom's favorite food, and I had no
What is
idea. It's rice
Right.
cooked in a slow cooker sort of thing with roast beef.
Wow. That sounds very good.
And I don't know whether she made that up or. And the other thing I liked of hers was rice pudding that she made
Yeah.
the long way, the hard way.
Here goes John.
Okay.
Favorite son-in-law? Only son-in-law?
Only son-in-law. No, I stopped there for a minute thinking I don't have any other son-in-law. And
All right, I guess I got
at Irene's 80th birthday, there was this huge poem that the grandchildren recited, and it had been written by Mary's husband, Joe.
Yeah.
And in like the last 2 or 3 lines, they each said a line. It came out somehow, I can't remember, it all rhymed, but that he was the only Catholic of all her sons-in-laws.
Oh, my goodness.
that all the daughters that had married.
Outside.
And he made a bit, and of course everybody howled because they're all there
Yeah.
getting this
Yeah.
shaft from him.
That's cool.
And he is cool, he's very nice. I guess the others are too. I like Irene's husband. Little Irene's husband.
George.
Mhm.
George.
And,
37 minutes of this.
wow.
All right.
The other thing I remember from growing up, my favorite thing, lily of the valley plant in our backyard, and the huge lilac bush in our backyard.
Yeah, I remember. That's why I want one.
And I like those a lot. My mother used to pick the lilies of the valley and weave them into a crown for the statue of the Blessed Mother on the May Day procession. She made it for her. It was very pretty because they weave nicely, with
Sure.
the long stems
Sure.
and everything like
I
that.
need the plants.
And I remember that smell. I thought it was heavenly. I love lily of the valley smell.
But you don't like lilies.
No, like lily of the valley. Lilies are okay. They're just too heavy.
Mhm.
And so are roses when they're in. Roses remind me of funerals because there were so many of. Well, not so many, but I guess in
the
particular.
heavy perfume.
Yeah, I remember my grandmother's funeral, and I didn't like the smell of roses for that. And one of the things you get as you get older is the wisdom to realize that your mother did a lot more work than you ever gave her credit for.
Yes, dear.
No, and I don't mean this personally, because not me, I'm talking about her. That
No, you too.
no, so many of the things.
It's like we're saying, 4 kids, no break.
uh,
Not the most helpful husband in the world.
Well, and my dad actually did a lot of the heavy work, the kind of work that you
Yeah.
expect husbands back then to do.
Yeah.
But no, she did a lot. I think every time I get in and out of our bathtub that she had a bad hip